Hello, Pamela Spence, medical herbalist here, and these are my clinic notes for the week. So I wasn't around last week because I was down at Twinings headquarters for a few days. It was really nice to see. Sorry, I just finished my lunch. It's really nice to see colleagues there after a long 18 months. And so this is my first week back, and I think there's a few things that people have been talking about, been coming up in conversation over the last 2 weeks, actually. One of them was just the realization that I used to do that trip every, I'd be certainly away for work, at least once a month. And the realization that I hadn't done it for a long time, that really took a lot out of me. And I think that was on several levels. One was going from Scotland into England, where the rules are different. In England, it really feels like people are just not wearing masks anymore. Social distancing has kind of gone a bit out the window. Even in enclosed spaces, it feels really different. And I was not as comfortable with that as I had imagined I would be. And my realization was just that being distant from people for so long has become so normal that I had a tendency to try to move into bigger spaces or outside spaces to be with people, which is just a reflection really on how this wasn't just a quick thing that happened. It's kind of changed the way we live our lives. Understatement of the year. The second thing was that having all those contact points while I was away, from having this sort of isolated little life to suddenly being in a plane, in cars, in restaurants, in hotels, in all these different places, made me really wary. And I was back to feeling quite stressed sometimes about, picking up COVID again, because now we're onto a new variant, and questioning myself. And I just felt my stress levels rise a little bit, things that I would never have bothered about before. And I'm bringing that up. Oh, and the other thing was just the delight at seeing people in person, and also the exhaustion of being around people, lots of different people, and more interactions than I would have had, that I'm having these days. And I bring this up really just to say, if you're back to traveling again for work, I know quite a lot of people that listen to my stuff are in London, going into inner London on the tube or whatever. Or, you're back to traveling, like some people up here I know, like I did, back to getting on the flight and going down south. Just don't underestimate how much it takes from you until you're really back and used to it again. Because I was exhausted for a good 2 days when I got back. And I was very surprised by that. So there's that. There's also the fact that autumn is really ramping up now. So last week was sort of the last of the warm weather. As you can see, I've got my scarf on. I'm in my autumn colours. I'm really enjoying it. Actually, I wore boots for the first time the other day. And I love that sense of cooling in, as we say in this part of the country, and being cosy and warm at home. But I'm aware of the extra damp and the extra wind, and that I want to protect my throat. That's my weak area. So today, out walking the dog this morning with drizzle going on and wild winds blowing the trees around, I really felt like I wanted to protect this area, keep it warm, to stop me from picking up anything. And I tend to find if I've done that without protection around my throat, I'll tend to get sort of slightly sore, swollen glands, and then that can develop into a sore throat situation if I'm not careful. So what I do is I put neat lavender essential oil. Most essential oils you shouldn't put directly on your skin, but lavender and tea tree you can if you know that you're not allergic to them. So I slather lavender oil down both sides of my neck, covering all those lymph glands right up in behind my ears, and then put a scarf on, and that just really helps to keep things at bay. I took an extra dose of vitamin C today, and I made sure I had my D and my zinc, because I just thought, could I be on the cusp of something? And it's a busy week this week because I'm running my free 3-part training series, which, if you're a busy woman who does too much, has high stress levels and wants to know how to reduce them, naturally and quickly, you will find links to the training series all over all of my pages. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to my Instagram or my Facebook page or my website, and you'll see places to sign up. So I'm aware that I need to keep pace and not let myself fall behind. So the first thing was about travel, if that's happening for you. And the second thing was about autumn and just being aware now we should be stepping away from the cold foods and cold drinks, salads, fizzy pop. Well, shouldn't be doing fizzy pop really, but you know what I mean. And embracing warmer foods. Nearly time for soup. Probably time to switch up your breakfast to be back to porridge again. Or at least if you can do okay with wheat hot toast rather than cold cereal with cold milk, if that's something that you do. Support your body through this change as the temperature falls. And the third thing was about people I've been talking to this week really feeling like they're a bit stuck at home if they're still working from home, and getting a bit ants in their pants about that. But not really knowing what to do. And I just was talking to one person today about, if you used to go out to work and you are an extrovert, i.e. somebody who gains focus, clarity and energy from being around people, if your working life has become from home and you are missing that, just think about other ways that you could create some more connection in your days. So that might be possible for you to pick up your stuff, every once in a while and go down and sit in a cafe and work there and have people around you. It may be a lot of teams now are doing work together hours on Zoom or on Teams. So actually being with colleagues on a phone, but you're all getting on with your work. I've got a couple of business groups for entrepreneurs who do that. That can be quite useful. Just thinking about how you can increase the number of contacts in your day if you're feeling that you're really missing the buzz of the office, as I've heard several people say. Because we are going into the colder months, we will be spending more time at home. We usually do in these months anyway. And so making sure that you're getting that nourishment from an inspiration of being around other people, that energy. If you're an extroverted worker, then that's really important. So just thinking into the changes you can make now. I hope that that's helpful. And I will now be in clinic for the next few weeks. So I shall speak to you this time next week. Take care.